This is the week 3 summary reflection for Math 10. This is a little bit late. I forgot to do the week 3 summary on the weekend, so I'm just going to be doing it now and getting it in late. But anyways, we are going to be doing the most important part for the week 3 lessons, which is the trigonometric ratios. These are the sine ratios, cosine ratios, and the tangent ratios that we learned. Now, these are the most important because you use these to calculate any angle or side length to right triangles in trigonometry. And we use these to build into all the other parts of the unit. So let's go over the ratios. The first ratio is the sine ratio, which includes the opposite and the hypotenuse sides of the right triangle. Down here is the example of how you would calculate a missing side if you were missing one of the parts for the hypotenuse or the opposite side. So for this example, we have used the hypotenuse as the missing side x, and since we already have the information that we need of the opposite side, what you would do using this sine ratio is multiply the number for the opposite side length by the sine of 17 degrees down here at the reference angle. So this is the part of the acronym SOHCAHTOA that is just so. So SOH, sine ratio is opposite and hypotenuse. So here, because we have the opposite and we're looking for the hypotenuse, that uses the O and the H. That means it's a sine ratio, and then we use the angle 17. The next one is the cosine ratio. This is using the adjacent and hypotenuse sides of a right triangle. This is the acronym section of CAH, the CAH, and is the same as the sine ratio, except for instead of the opposite, in this one you're using the adjacent. So same example with the same numbers. You have your 43 as the adjacent side length, and you're looking for the hypotenuse. You will use the multiplying of the number 43 by 17 degrees to get, or 17 degrees cosine to get the distance of side length for the H hypotenuse side. And the last one is a tangent, using the two that haven't been used twice yet, and that is the opposite and the adjacent angles. So for this, or the opposite and adjacent sides. And for this one, same thing. This time we're not using the hypotenuse. If we were looking for the adjacent, you would use the opposite length, and you could switch that around as well. Now you can do that for all three. If you wanted to find the opposite side and you have the hypotenuse, then you can use the sine ratio. If you were looking for the adjacent and you had the hypotenuse, you could use the cosine ratio. And if you were looking for the adjacent and you had the opposite, you could use the tangent ratio. Yeah, basically just use these to try and find all of these missing lengths. And then you would also use that to calculate angles, but that's not really... that's the second part, but for now we're just focusing for this reflection at least on the acronym SOHCAHTOA, when to use which one of these equations, and the basic way on how you would find the missing side length. So that's why I just used the side length and no angles for this one. But that is the trigonometric ratios, the most important part of the week 3 summary. Late.